I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Camp Getaway. We're so excited to talk about this episode with you guys because it just seems every episode it gets juicier and juicier and juicier. And I loved this episode, but we can't do it all alone. You know, I can't do this all alone. So I have to introduce my lovely co-hosts as well as our special guest. Zach, how are you today? How'd you feel about this episode?
I'm good. I mean, I'm really excited about our guest. We're going to break everything down. I think she was in the hot seat a little bit this episode, so I know we have some questions. So I'm excited.
Yes. I know you are because you are our Bravo guy. You are our Bravo go-to. Also, I have the lovely Allie with us. How do you feel about this episode?
I totally agree with you guys. It was juicy. It was great. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yes. And I know we have the one and only Latoya with us today. How do you feel about the episode, Latoya?
It was a good episode, and we're starting to see some switch ups. You know, some of the people that we either hadn't seen before or we'd seen them in one light. In this episode, we started to see them in a different light, including Miss Monica and Nile, who has been a favorite of mine prior to this episode. So it was good.
Yeah.
Prior. She said prior.
Oh, I heard that. I'm appreciative of that. You know, I have this thing that I always tell people. I'm like, once you get to know me, you probably will really love me. I'm not for everyone though, but like if you get to know me, we're usually good.
Yes. And we will get all into that too.
I want you to. Like I want to be an open book and like be, you know, as honest as possible. Like I have a lot of history and a lot of years at camp, so I know a lot about like all the stuff about camp. And you know, the show is such an interesting thing because it's like it brings these brand new faces, brand new people, brand new energy to camp. But camp in itself is like the constant, like very special, magical place that regardless of who you are, what you do, you're going to have a really wonderful experience from it. So like, I'm happy to talk about all of it.
And we can't wait to hear all about this book that you're ready to tell us all about. And who's the only one who could do that is Monica. So thank you so much for joining us, Monica. You know, you really showed out this episode, so we can't wait to get into it and get the inside scoop on what really went down. So, everyone, we can't wait. So, during this episode, let's just talk about starting off Randall and Sophia. Oh my goodness, they had to talk, and it was kind of awkward a lot of the times hearing this talk, and it all centered around good old Adam, who we're all friends with. So let's get your take on it, Allie. How'd you feel about the entire Randall and Sophia talk?
I mean, it was definitely uncomfortable, but I think the two girls handled it very well. And I don't know, Neely's little side comment where she was like, that's strange. I mean, yeah, correct. Like, it's all very strange. The fact that he would get in bed and cuddle with Randall. By the way, he took his pants off. We all saw that, right? Like, he took his pants off to get into bed. I don't know. It was strange for sure. But I was happy to see that the girls were able to kind of like, even though you can tell there's still a little tension and it's a little awkward, they're able to put their friendship kind of before Adam, at least this weekend. But I was happy to see them just talk about it.
Definitely. And what about you, Zach? How did you feel during this whole Randall and Sophia talk? I know you have a lot to say about it.
Oh, wait. I always have my opinions. And I just felt like the conversation was just... I really like both of them, but I just think it was fake. Like, I feel like they didn't want to be confrontational, so they just kind of avoided. Thank you for that. I just feel like they were avoiding what they actually wanted to say. And it kind of bothered me when Sophia was like, he chose me. I was like, it's a little too soon, Sophia. Like, we don't know. He is not here this weekend. But I just felt like they would rather not tell each other how they feel because they think they just don't want it to be awkward, but it actually makes it more awkward that they're just not like being honest and like communicating. They were both just beating around the bush.
Yeah, it definitely was awkward, especially the kiss at the end, when she's like, oh, mwah, like, I'm going to get dressed. I'm like, this would have went down totally different if it was me in this situation. What about you, LaToya? How were you feeling during this whole conversation they were having?
Well, I thought it was interesting. I think that, one, I thought the conversation was going to be more in depth. I don't feel like we necessarily saw a lot on this episode as far as their conversation is concerned. And I think they're two very different girls. Randall self-admittedly has very like single girl desperate energy. And she said that, in the previous episode, the comedian woman, I don't remember her name, kind of gave her advice. Christina gave her the advice of like, you're portraying and putting out that energy of being the single girl. And unless you change that up, like that's who you're going to be. And then the way she was acting with Adam was a little, I hate to use the word desperate. It was a little like, see me, come give me attention. And then you have Sophia, who's super sensitive and a little insecure because of her past hurts and breakup. And I'm just glad that they were respectful of each other. And even though they both may be a little hurt, they seem not to be blaming the other girl. So that's good.
That's true.
Yeah. It could have been a whole brawl fight.
I'm going to tell you, as a neutral observer, did you remember last week when I was in the bathroom and Sophia was telling me, my face was like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea that Randall liked Adam, and I had no idea that Sophia and Adam had a thing going on. So it was literally news to me across the board. And as kind of like an OG, like the first week, I don't know if you remember, I got on top of Adam when he was in bed, because that's like a thing that we always do. We will all like get, like, I mean, it's very platonic, very neutral, that we will like cuddle with each other. And I used to, like, literally somebody would always get in my bed in the morning and be like, I'm your cuddle buddy. Like, it's just a thing that we do because there's so much love. We literally call ourselves a campily. And I think that's probably where some of his energy was coming from, because he could sense her hurt. And he actually is a very caregiving, like very sensitive kind of person. So it's like, I think that's where it came from. But when I saw it too, I was like, what are you doing? Stop!
Yeah, because I think Randall, I kind of feel the opposite a little, LaToya. For me, when I like how Randall, initiated the conversation and wanted to talk to Sophia about it, and I think the whole conversation was really awkward, and I think she wanted to hear her side of it, so then Randall can kind of sleep better at night, because when it's two of you guys liking the same guy, you want to know, what is he telling you? Because I think Adam is the common denominator here, who was kind of like making it seem like, oh, girl, I like you. You looking cute today. Don't worry about it. And then you go and then you telling Sophia. So I think she wanted to make her numbers right in knowing, okay, what is he doing with you? Because if he's doing certain things with you, you can kind of be like, okay, maybe he's just like that friendly guy. Kind of that. But we don't have to assume anymore, because we have the source right here with us. So, Monica,
I think he was pretty honest about it that weekend. He was honest with both of them, to be honest. He really was. I mean, you saw when the next morning when Randall was like, oh my God, I hate this. It's because Adam took the time to talk to her that night.
That's good to know.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I know he looks kind of toolish, but he's actually
kinda. I'm just kidding. What are we gonna see with him like throughout the rest of the season? Is he still gonna be this kind of
you'll see him hopefully a little bit more dimensional. Like, it takes a while to get used to like the whole experience, right? You know what I mean? And Adam, because he's like a person that part of the reason why I think he and Sophia are such a good fit, they really, really care about not wanting to step on anybody's toes, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings. But sometimes, when you do that, you can cause more problems because you're just not being clear, and it comes across as a little duplicitous, and that's not what he's trying to do.
So between the two of them, who do you think would make the better couple, Adam and Randall or Adam and Sophia?
Well, I said it on the show. I could see Adam and Sophia together, right? Because I think that they're just like really two. I think that I love Randall. Don't get me wrong. I think Randall's like super fun, super funny. Her energy is amazing. I think Adam is a little laid back and a little reserved for that. You know, I
Mm.
think that Sophia has a similarly matched, like, you know, I think both of them would be fine sitting on the beach listening to like Grateful Dead, you know, with like a margarita in their hand, and they would be like, that'd be great. I don't think that, you know, and like not needing to like have like high class food or anything like that, literally like having a barbecue on the beach. I think that would be Sophia and Adam. That's why I think they'd be a better fit.
Mm. That's a good point. That's a good point. And also, you know, it was singles night and the
Singles weekend,
feelings.
yeah, that's a good weekend. The Young Professionals weekend is like the singles weekend. That's a fun weekend if you're a single person.
So
Like
are you
a
single?
single, like straight person.
Yeah, I would rather be at the Pride weekend from the
You
last
should come to the
episode.
Pride weekend, honey. The
I'll
Pride
be there
weekend
next
is like
summer.
a fun weekend for everyone, but if you're a single straight person, come to the like depending on your age. If you're like from like mid 20s, mid 40s, the Young Professional weekend is your weekend.
So are you single?
Me? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm single now. I'm single.
Oh.
That's why I was like at the table with the bachelors.
So did you end up you know, we didn't get to we didn't get to see you know, if you found some love. So did you find some love and some singles?
Listen, every weekend I am an excellent hostess and like for people to get to know the camp, and you know, and I'm not sure how the season will unfold and what you'll see, but like let's just know that I am not very thirsty when it comes to that category.
You know, I'm gonna save my prediction for predictions.
Okay.
Because I've been feeling this way for, you know, since a certain someone has joined the camp. But we'll save that for later, huh?
Oh.
I think I know what you're putting down.
Right?
Maybe the same person y'all thought maybe he was gonna be with
Randall.
Oh no.
Mr. Paul G himself, Gav.
You know, maybe so. It rhymes with Gavin, but
we'll talk about it later.
We'll get that.
All right, we'll have to see where you guys are going with this one.
So speaking of that time, you know, we got to talk about Mr. Gavin. He just joined the team. He's all around, you know, he seems like the all around like cool guy that you kind of like with the instant charm too. So, you know, how is it like working with him?
So for me, Gavin coming on was like literally having like somebody that's like family join. Like, I mean, you guys saw that he and I, we were like like when the skunk came around, like he and I like took off. Like I was like, this is like family here. He and I both are on the same page about a lot of stuff. So it's like Gavin and I, like, there's just like this natural connection of friendship that he and I had. And that's how I experienced him. But I think if you were to talk to everybody in the cast, they would have their own special connection with him. That's just how he is. He's just like,
that's awesome.
He's just like all around like beautiful person.
That's awesome. And it's always great, you know, as being Black when you see someone else and then you get the whole like
in Connecticut in the woods. You're like, oh my God, thank you. You're like half Asian, right? But it's still like, oh my God.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's half Filipino and half Jewish.
Oh wow. Come on, Adam. Yeah. Well, that was pretty cool. And then also seeing, you know, Mr. Gavin had his time too. He enjoyed himself this weekend. This is the first
every weekend.
He is definitely the life of the party. So during that time, and he was kind of had his eye. Well, the matchmaker kind of had her eye on him.
Aaron,
yeah. How was that like? You know, was she really trying to flirt with him, or what? Like, what's the scoop on that?
From where I was sitting, I think she definitely had a real curiosity about him. That's what I'll say. Like, I think she definitely was like wanting that to be like her camp hookup for the weekend.
And Monica, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you think she had like a long-term interest? Like I could see myself dating, or just like, let me get to know you for the weekend?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, like, you know, I mean, Gavin, like, you know, for what it's worth, he really does have a type. Like, I've never, like, throughout the entire summer, every woman that Gavin was interested in really was a tall woman. Like, tall, curvaceous woman. That's his type.
Wow.
He is on. He sticks to it. It's always on brand. By the end of I could be like, "That's your type. That's your type." Like, but Gavin, he is very clear, like about his type for
How
sure.
tall is Gavin?
He's probably like maybe 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, okay.
So how tall
like,
does?
6 feet. He's all game. He's game for it. He doesn't have that. He's not one of those people that's like she's too tall. He likes it.
Oh, wow.
I wonder what his like height limit is. Like if it's you had to be 5'7" or 5'6". I wonder what that is.
I think he probably likes like a 5'9" and up, 5'9", 5'10" and up. Like he just likes you tall and with some like, bumps and humps.
Well, ladies,
I'm out.
If you took a Kardashian and stretched him out, that's his type.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Allie.
I'm out.
How tall are you, Allie?
I'm 5'7".
Oh,
Me
you might
too.
work.
I'm sad.
I mean, like you got this and going on. It might
No.
work.
I'm 5'7",
Not gonna
so-
work.
He's like honestly like one of the funniest, like just easygoing guys. He grew up with all sisters, and so he's just like
Yes.
super easygoing with when, especially when it comes to women.
Definitely.
He's like,
And I think-
he is like the best. He's the greatest.
Oh, that's
I
I
feel
can tell
like
his energy's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Yes.
energy is really phenomenal.
So
He,
I have
he gets the idea of like, let's just have fun in the woods.
So it's okay for social coordinators to hook up with guests. Like that's okay at Camp Getaway.
Honey, yeah.
I think that's required.
Anybody working as like a weekend crew and social coordinators, it would not exist.
Okay.
Like I actually have a theory. This is like I have a thing that I've been doing. Like I went to camp for the first time like it's like literally 10 years ago, Labor Day, this coming Labor Day, and I was blown away by the whole experience. But when I decided to join, the staff a few years back, like I realized the best way to go about doing it is on Friday night. It's almost like I just joke and say like you should pretend you're like the Bachelorette, where you're just like, hello, how are you? Like, see who asked, can I steal you for a second? Right? See who you connect with. Then the next day, you see who you just kind of naturally connect with, and that's who's going to be your camp boyfriend for the weekend. You should not like get a camp boyfriend
so
or girlfriend
fun.
the first weekend or the first night. You shouldn't do it because like the next day, you don't know. Like there's so many activities, so many things. You don't know who you're going to connect with.
So you should kind of go into camp.
That we would not work there. Nobody would work there.
So you kind of got to go into camp with like, literally, you're my boyfriend for 72 hours and then we break up.
No, I mean, like everybody that I met at camp, I actually ended up dating, but you don't go into camp like, well, almost everybody. But most of the guys that I met at camp, I actually ended up dating. So it's like, but I'd never, like I go in with like, do I like your spirit? Do I like your soul kind of thing? And if it works, it works. It's fine.
Interesting. So, when Gavin came back to the cabin and you guys are all chilling about to, you've had your drinks for the night. You guys are talking about calling it a night. Gavin plays the whole like, oh, I'm tired, guys. I'm going to sleep. And 15 minutes later, he ducks out. What do you think went down in the single cabin?
I mean, I don't even know what went down, but I want to say that I really like that guest, Erin, the matchmaker. And I think she really needs to set up Randall with Gavin because they both have go-lucky attitudes. They're both like super chill, super happy. And Randall kind of just got over the whole Adam situation. So that's this is what I'm pulling for, these two to get together.
Randall's like 5'2".
But that's okay. She has a great
5'2",
personality.
5'2".
So does he.
Really petite. She's a really petite girl.
Yeah, but you never know
has
who you're
a
going to
hard
fall in love
type.
with.
What'd you say?
You never know who you're going to fall in love with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think that, it's interesting to me because, I said to Sophia that like Adam's not afraid of a woman with ambition and drive and like who's going to start her, like that's not who he is. I think Gavin is the kind of guy that also likes a woman who's just like comfortable and free in her skin. And I think that like, and he wants to be able to laugh with somebody. He wants to make somebody laugh. Like that's the kind of, he like knows how to be a good boyfriend. He was engaged and everything, right? So it's like, he knows how to do that. And so, but I think he values like a person who he can make laugh. And I think I could see that happening with him and Randall for sure. But I think that like when I sit with them, their energy has always felt like a little less that, but more, but you never know. I mean, like I told you, I was surprised about like the whole Adam thing. So there could have been stuff happening that I didn't even know about, honey. I might have been asleep. I have no
Season 2, Monica. Season 2.
So, so you think they may have been learning more about camp and the different things that go on in the cabin, or do you think they were just he was just going to drop off some towels, maybe, or just something?
Whatever it was that they did, I hope that it made them both very happy and camp magic.
Amazing.
Great answer.
Yeah.
And speaking of the camp magic, you and Neely had a few words to exchange, especially when you guys had the scene where she was on top of the box and she was like dancing and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think she was, why did you want to pull
Why
out
did
of her,
you mean? Like you're saying, why did I approach her on the basketball court, or like why I said the thing about her on the box?
Yeah, about her on the box.
Well, so the thing is like the weekend before, even the reason why that conversation happened is because she asked me if I was going to participate in the contest. And I said, no, the contest really, those kinds of things are for the guests, right? Like we really are not there to be center stage. It's like the guests are supposed to be center stage. Our job is to make sure that every guest feels like super special. Right. And so that's how that first conversation got started. And I made a joke and I was like, I didn't win anyway. Just kind of made a joke. Right. Because I thought it was cute, my little angel costume, but like I didn't care if I won. I really didn't. But so then the next weekend, like because of that other conversation, I definitely was like, like because we had planned it earlier in the day, and and it's not a big deal. Normally, I didn't care. Like it didn't affect where I was going to be, but I was just like, come on now, you can't keep saying that you don't want to win or you don't care about like being on center stage when like it consistently happens.
Yeah, but I also feel like in that situation, her entering in Miss America, that's like winning already. Like you're in that pageant. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. Like if you're going to be in a competition, you might as well win. But what I didn't understand is Nile kind of coming at you.
Right.
I felt like he was kind of like just like starting more drama for no reason. Like it's almost like you spend like 3 days a week. Like what's the point of making this worse? Like you literally said, you were like, we're having a conversation. Like you just said it right away, and he didn't really get the message. What is everyone's thoughts about the whole Nile Monica thing?
For me, I see both sides because Monica, I will say this. We're here with it when it comes to you're having a conversation. You are not we're having a conversation. I hate when people interrupt and you see it and you don't say, excuse me, or like, hey, hey, excuse me, I just wanted to ask this, or hey, excuse me, can we do this? Whatever it is. I think he should have said that, and I think he should have done that. I think he took it to heart when you said thank you. He took your thank you as being dismissive. He took your thank you as like, okay, thank you. Like that's what he took it as.
But I didn't say it like that, did
I? Right. You were saying it as more so as like, okay, thank you. Like
that's exactly how it's
thank you. But he took it, I think he took it more to heart because it's kind of like, oh dang, they're having this really serious conversation. And she's saying this to me serious because, they're having a serious conversation.
Well, no, I think it would have been okay if he said that I was saying it to him seriously. The problem is that he said that I said it to him like really nastily and like and that's not how I did it because that's just not my nature. Like even with the stuff with Neely, like for me, like it started off with me being playful about the competition because the truth is I don't care. Like I think women be competitive. If you go into a contest, especially 4 times, like there's a part of me that feels like you do want to win. Like, and I think you should want to win, even though like the experience is amazing. Like even stuff that I know I'm never going to win, I'm still like, I'm going to try to win. So it's like, for me, it's like, it's a very playful energy that I have about it. I'm very pro like women. I want women to feel comfortable in their skin. And I was raised by very strong, comfortable women too. So it's like in that moment, I feel really confident being able to say something, set certain boundaries, be clear about what's important to me. I speak when something is important to me. And in that moment, I'm never rude to somebody. I'm not going to say something to hurt anybody's feelings. on purpose. that on purpose, but it's like in that moment, like I really was just I was just like, it went on for a while. And I finally was just like, really, we're having an important conversation. Can you just,
Yeah.
will you please give us the space?
Mhm.
It's not like I said, get the F out of here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think he's just intimidated because you're a confident woman who has power, and you hold people accountable when you need to, and you're awesome. And so I don't know. I was on your side with that. I think Nile was just being weird and sensitive and dramatic.
I want to hear from Latoya
I don't
though.
know what's going on. I
Latoya.
feel like he might have been fighting somebody else's battle a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. I think there was something else there because he was upset and we just all were kind of not understanding why. So yeah, I agree. I think there was something else going on, or he was upset for another reason, but taking it out on you. I don't know.
I think a lot of good points have been brought up, and I have a lot of thoughts. So, so going back to your thank you, to be honest, it did feel a little dismissive. Like you said what you said, and you were like, thank you, now you can go. But with that being said, I completely think that he blew it out of proportion. Like when I heard him describing what happened and I actually saw what happened, I was like, those two things like do not match. And I think that his reaction was way overblown for what actually happened. But then that brings up another point. So I'm a lawyer. And I think that because I am, people often feel a certain kind of way when I talk to them. It's that don't lawyer me, don't cross-examine me, don't whatever. And so my question to you, Monica, is do you think that because of your profession, people are
You
already
took my question. You took my question, Latoya.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, first of all, I get paid really well to do what I do as a psychologist. I have my own business in Boston. I'm Harvard faculty. This is not like some Mickey Mouse, like cocktail party sideshow Bob type of stuff that I do for work. I take my work very seriously. I'm very passionate about being a psychologist. There is nobody let me be clear. There's nobody in the world interesting enough for me to work for free. It's just not going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen.
That.
And so it's like the fact that like this is how they're experiencing it is nothing new. It's new for me at camp because like, again, I've been at camp for many of years. I've never had anybody like be like, oh, she's trying to psychoanalyze me. And I've been there for years. One of the things that people do say, part of the reason why I was asked to be a mentor is because guests every single year will ask where I am that weekend because I sit down and get to know people one-on-one. Like what Sophia said is true. That's my energy. I want to get to know who somebody is. I believe that part of what is the magic at camp is people get to come out of their shell. They get to be honest. To me, it was like the most loving and healing parts of camp that I could go and like connect with other parts of myself. And so for me, that's just who I am as my entire energy, right? Now, the problem is sometimes I don't know when to stop or shut my mouth. Although in my entire life, as part of the reason why I'm also a good psychologist is because I'm like, that don't sound right. And other people just let stuff go. And I'm like, wait a minute, that don't sound right. I should just let it go. That's where it's a problem. And I think that's where it's uncomfortable for them. But I do feel like they're weaponizing what I do for work. And for me, the way that I think about it is like, imagine if you got in the car with a friend of yours who happens to be a mechanic, right? And you're driving along and all of a sudden there's like a little clinkety clink, like poop, 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 poop. You might not notice it, but because they're like a mechanic, like and specialized in your car or whatever, they might hear it. And they're going to say to you, do you hear this in your car? And you're going to be like, no. But if they're like, you really should like pay attention to this thing in your car. Like, are you all of a sudden going to be like, well, shut the hell up. I don't care what you have to say because, because I don't want to hear it. Or would you be like, oh, okay. And like, and they're not working for you, but you can't help but notice certain things when you're in your, like, for me, my work is my calling. It's a part of my personality that allowed me to be good at it. It's not like the other way around. So it's like, I was paying attention or noticing stuff before I actually learned what the theory was to explain it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely.
See, I'm very passionate about this. Because I mean, like the work of psychology is so important, especially right now. And I just kind of hate that it's weaponized a bit. That's all.
Yeah, because that was Latoya, we're on the same page. Because that's what I was thinking when I was watching the episode. I was thinking, do they kind of use her profession or kind of think that,
to dismiss me, to dismiss what I have to say.
Yeah, and like you're making them like a client, like you're their therapist.
And I think that people, sorry, I was just going to say that I think that people feel intimidated, and especially if their educational background or professional background doesn't match yours, then they automatically assume that you're trying to like talk down to them or trying to do whatever. And in your case, I guess, analyze them and like tell them about themselves.
Or belittle. That's the other word that was used. And I was just like, no. Even David, the owner of the camp, didn't even know I was a psychologist affiliated with Harvard for like a year.
Wow. I think it's super cool though, because then you get to learn more about yourself. Because, you know, if we were at camp together, you probably would be having me unveil all this stuff. I would be like,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, I would love to be your friend at camp. Help.
Right. I would literally be
like part of the experience, to me, it feels like it's like learning new things about yourself, stretching the limits, you know, getting out of your comfort zone. And I think that everybody who like has been there for a while has their own special, unique way of doing it. I like to actually just have fun and let go and be silly, as you guys see in Color War. Like that really is my energy. But my other energy is like, I like to connect with the person one-on-one. And I'm like, and I will ask people like, what do you want from the weekend? Like, you know, like, let's figure this out. And, you know, I'm sure on some level that's part of my nature of paying attention to them and like knowing the questions to ask. But it's not the same as me actually doing therapy, something that I get paid to do and that I do really well. That's not what I'm doing at camp.
Yeah. I mean, either way, you're giving everybody good advice. So shouldn't they just be saying thank you, Monica?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Monica.
well, someone who doesn't say thank you a lot, Mr. Adam, was not there at camp this weekend because he got suspended because he didn't care. He wasn't caring who signs his check and the ice cream bar of what happened last week. So just let us know, you know, how was it not having Adam at camp this weekend or that weekend per se?
So I think part of the reason why Nile also said it's Monica's fault that Adam's not there at camp is because I actually did say, you know, I felt bad for Adam because like Adam, like I'm always going to be the person that's going to be like, wait a minute, hello, what's going on? But, you know, I didn't realize what Adam was also carrying on his shoulder. I think he was stressed out about a bunch of different things. And it's like, if I had any clue that like our conversation was then gonna like also then lead into him like popping off with Claire, in my head I was like, I don't know how I could have handled it differently because I still feel like I handled it well, but I just felt bad that like I was any part of it because I actually do really love Adam. I think he's a good person. So I felt bad and I missed him. And I think that Nile took like me being vulnerable and saying that and turned it and threw it back in my face, unfortunately. But like I missed him. Like I want him to be there every week. I like Adam. He really is a solid person. He's been a good friend and he's a very sensitive person. He really is.
When is his birthday? Do you know?
Okay, I know you asked this question. I'm going to tell you. You guys are about to freak out, okay? So there are there's 10 of us, right? 4 Virgos, 3 Aries, and 3 Scorpios.
Oh.
Adam is a Scorpio.
Yeah.
No. Adam's the Aries.
Oh.
Nope. Adam, Nile, Neely, and me were all the Virgos.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Claire, Lynn, and Gavin, they're the Scorpios. Sophia, Randall, and David are the Aries. Isn't that fascinating?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Right? I mean, the way we cluster like that, that's crazy.
We're all stuck.
That is not related to this.
Okay.
Clearly, there are other camp employees and social coordinators who are not a part of the show. Are there any who are a little jealous that they didn't get selected or maybe weren't considered?
I think that everybody's protective of it because camp really is such a magical, special place where people come. Like, you know, it's a volunteer job in the big picture, right? It's a volunteer job. You know, most of us have like, well, you know, we all have our own lives and our own jobs in the city that we do Monday through Friday. So to come to a place out in the woods, it's like, you know, 2-3 hours away from where you live, to get in a car on a Friday to drive and then to drive home on a Sunday to go back into your work week. Something has to be really magical and special about this place, right? So it's like the people who were there, like who worked there, I think they were worried about like it interrupting its magic a little bit and making it a little bit more difficult for them initially. You know, as things went on and everybody kind of got into a rhythm, I think they realized just how amazing the whole production team was. I mean, the production team, literally, we had like some of the best people in the business and they were so respectful. And I think it just added another layer of like specialness to the camp, you know, for the whole camp experience, because it was a new experience. you know, and I think it'll make people want to be a part of camp even more. But, you know, I think people were just very protective is the best way I'd say it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay,
And,
I think we're gonna get into our game.
Before we head out, we do want to play a game with you.
Okay.
So Zach, take it away.
Mhm. So we're gonna play a little game called Most Likely to Camp Getaway Edition. Cue the sound effects here. So me and Allie both came up with a few questions. So we're gonna ask the three of you who is most likely to, a quick little rapid fire. We're gonna have Latoya go first, then Sanat, then Monica. We want you to go last. So Allie, take it away with the first question.
Wait, question.
Yes.
So you'll ask the question and then most likely to out of who?
Well, no,
The
the questions will be
whole
the whole cast. Yeah.
Okay.
You like the 8 of us, or are you talking about Claire and David too?
You don't need Claire and David. If you
Yeah,
want
just 8.
Okay.
Okay, first question. Who is most likely to take too many shots, wake up hungover, and miss all the day's activities?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Adam and or Gavin.
Mhm.
I see that.
What about you, Sanaa?
For me, I would say definitely Adam. I'm gonna say Adam. I'm gonna just go with Adam.
I would say
Monica?
perhaps Adam.
I think we can all definitely agree on that.
Yeah, I would say Adam.
Yeah, I really can't think of anyone else. Maybe Gavin, because he parties really hard.
But Gavin, like, he parties really hard, but he still manages to get up and just go.
I'm just trying to
Right.
say someone that's not Adam, you know, spice
Okay.
things up. Okay, the next question. Who is most likely to be David's favorite? Latoya?
Claire.
out of the social coordinators.
Out of the social coordinators, Monica.
I'm gonna say Monica or Sophia.
And who is it, Monica?
I would say it's probably, I feel like it's me in the way that, like, David doesn't question, like, my judgment or, like, the things that I do. I think he, like, sees me as a solid person and understands that I'm there for camp. I think if there was a second choice of, like, favorite or just somebody he just, like, is amused by, I think it'd probably be Randall, actually.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
His wife definitely loves Randall. Like, they're like,
Really?
yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, who's most likely to become a couple after the show in real life?
Ooh.
Well, we have the obvious. I think Sophia and Adam, because they already have something happening. And that's all I have.
I'm gonna say, goes in part of my prediction, I think Gavin and Monica.
Ooh.
Monica, what do you think?
Let me find
I'm
out
here for
Gavin
that.
finds out.
I would probably say if there was a huge toss-up of stuff, I would say Neely and Nile.
Oh. See, I was actually gonna say Neely and Adam, not like Sophia's Adam.
That's who I thought at the
Adam who
beginning
she
would
was.
have a connection.
The Adam who
I
she
was
was flirting with
surprised.
this episode. I thought they really hit it off, and I also really like him more than I Trip. Yeah. All right, one last question because we're gonna wrap up soon. Who is Monica most likely to fight with next? Because you've gotten in a couple of beefs the past, couple of episodes. So Latoya, who do you think it's gonna be?
I think we're gonna have a repeat with Nile.
Okay. What about you, Sanaa?
I say the same, but to spice it up, I'm gonna say Neely.
Ooh. And
I'm
Monica?
gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's been a great pleasure having you. We can't wait for next episode to see who's falling in love and who's fighting. So for everyone to stay in contact, I'm your host, Sanaa. You guys can follow me on Instagram at IAM_SANA_ and on Twitter at IAM_Sanaa. Where can people find you at, Allie?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Alexandra James.
And what about you, Latoya?
I am on Instagram at Latoya.Blakely and Twitter at Blakely Latoya.
And you, Zach?
You can find me on Instagram at Zach Weinberg and Twitter at It's Zachary Bish.
And the one and only Monica, Harvard's very own. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Dr.Monica. and on Twitter at Dr. Monica O'Neill. O'Neill like Shaquille, Neal.
Oh, let me find out that's your cousin.
You know, somewhere down the line, honey. We're all
Thank you so much, everyone, for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And while you're here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest buzz of all your favorite reality stars. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.